Hello Wayfarer Vans fans, this is Thomas, and this is the final video in my 4-part series of what I learned from this recent 5-state 1,900 plus mile trip down to Quartzsite, Arizona for the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous. I've already suggested some gear to you that I found super helpful, like the Coleman Extreme Cooler, the Reliance toilet, these scrubs, cleaning cloths. But I want to quickly give you my top 10 gear suggestions, things I found helpful on this trip you might find helpful as you travel or camp in your Wayfarer van kit, whether you have the ProMaster City or the larger cargo van. These gear suggestions won't be in any particular order, but here's gear item number 1. It's the iNergy Kodiak solar generator. I was looking for a generator that I could use at home if my power goes out. In fact, I just used this 2 days ago in southeastern Idaho when we ran out of power. I could power the blower on my propane stove, my lamps in my house, charge up my essential devices. So this worked great that way. And because it's only 20 pounds, comes with this shoulder strap, I could throw this in a bug out bag in a worst case scenario and take it with me. So in this tiny box, it's only 14 inches by 7 inches by 8 inches, is an 1100 watt hour lithium battery that has a life cycle of 10 years or 2,000 cycles. It has inside of it a 1500 watt continuous and 3,000 watt surge pure sine wave inverter. So all of your components are contained in this box. The other reason why I got it is because I can charge it 4 ways. It was more flexible than the Goal Zero. I can charge this with an AC outlet. I can charge it out of my 12 volt socket in my ProMaster City. I can charge it with solar, which is what I did on this recent trip, and I can charge it by connecting it to a traditional deep cycle lead acid battery by using these terminal points here. So the variety of ways that I could charge it and how quickly it charges was another big factor for me. And like I say, I can use it in 3 different scenarios. I could throw it into a bug out bag, I can use it at home, and I can use it in my ProMaster City. So it's super flexible for me. You can see on the front of it that you have a traditional 30 amp outlet if you wanted to charge your RV with this. I just plug a 30 amp to 110 adapter into this, so it gives me an additional plug. You've got 6 AC plugs here. You've got 2 12 volt plugs. I'm probably going to plug in my MaxxAir 12 volt fan into this. You've got 4 USB plugs. You have 2 proprietary LED light plugs that are made by Kodiak. This is your display here. There's your power button. It's going to tell you your amps and voltage use when you have items plugged into it. On the side of the Kodiak generator, you've got your terminals for connecting a lead acid battery to charge this up. You've got a terminal for your AC adapter. You've got a fast charging terminal for your solar to plug in here, and also your 12 volt. This little light just comes on to let you know that the device is being charged from any one of those methods. You've got venting here that you want to keep open for the generator to vent, and then the opposite side you'll notice you have some venting as well. So this is super helpful. I'm saying more about this than any of the other items because many of the other items on the list are going to be powered by this fantastic solar generator. They sold out of these at Christmas time. You really can't find them anywhere. Watch for them when they come out new. I got a great deal on this. It's an Idaho company. It's literally 30 minutes from my front door. But watch for deals on the new Kodiak generators that come out. They're going to be even more capable than this. And check in with me via private message before you buy one, because I might be able to get you a better deal. They gave me 20 or 30% off because the store is right here locally, the warehouse is. So let me know if it is something you're interested in. I don't get any kickbacks from Kodiak, but I'd like to make sure you get the best deal possible on this. My next two gear recommendations are both 12-volt items. That is, they charge out of your cigarette lighter port. You've got two of those in the front of the ProMaster City and one in the rear that you can still access even with the kitchen boxes and the magnetic panels in the back of the van. You can pick these up at any truck stop or online at Amazon or other sellers. They're both made by the same company. It's called Road Pro. They make a lot of 12-volt items specifically for truckers, these people that spend their whole lifetime on the road. And so they're well tested and well reviewed, and I found them super helpful. The first one is their 12-volt little stove. This is about the size of a lunchbox. When you open it up, you can see the inside has a metal lining, and you just pick up some medium loaf pans at Walmart or your local grocery store, and these fit inside, so you're going to be cooking within that loaf pan. And this heats up to as high as 300 degrees inside, running off of your 12-volt. So people cook meat in here. You can find all kinds of YouTube videos about recipes people have come up with. So you can use these tins to create meals ahead of time, freeze those meals, store them in your Coleman cooler, and then just bring them out throughout your travels, drop them into this little 12-volt oven, and they can be cooking while you go down the road. And that's exactly what I do. About 2 hours out from camp or an hour out from camp, depending on what I'm cooking, I pull over, get out my little tin. I'll get a can of my favorite soup or stew, put that inside, and then I love this Marie Callender's cornbread mix because you only have to add water. After I poured in my stew, I mix up some cornbread mix. I put that on top of the stew so it forms a covering, and put that in the 12-volt oven. As I mentioned, that heats up to 300 degrees. Because I'm baking cornbread on top of liquid, it's going to take much longer than just cooking cornbread by itself. So it takes about an hour and a half to really cook that stew and cook the cornbread perfectly. So if you time it, by the time you reach your camp, you've got 2 meals in this little container or one large meal that are ready for you when you arrive. I normally place this in a larger lasagna tin, so in case it gets jostled going down the road and anything would spill out, it's inside of another container. And I connect it to the 12-volt in the back of the ProMaster City, and then I just make sure that it's secured in the back of the van as I'm going down the road. Be aware on the back of this that there's 2 little ports where hot air is diffused, or the steam from the inside is diffused, and it can burn you. So make sure it's not near anything that could be damaged by just the heat that is vented out of those little spots. But this is super helpful for me. I can plug this into the Kodiak generator and make a meal in the evening as well. So that's from Road Pro. It's their little oven that you can pick up. These are about $25, $30 at any local truck stop. My third gear recommendation is also from Road Pro. It's their 12-volt electric blanket or electric throw. It's about 3 by 5, so it's not a full blanket like you would put on a bed, but it's more than adequate for being in the Wayfarer van. It's 12 volts, so it plugs into your 12-volt adapters, any 3 of them in the ProMaster City, or again, I'm plugging it into my Kodiak generator. It doesn't have settings on it. It just heats up to a particular temperature, but plenty warm. I toss it into my sleeping bag about 15 minutes before I go to sleep and just warm up the interior. And then in the morning, I'll plug it in for that 15 minutes or so just before I get out of bed, just to cut the cold when I have to get out and make breakfast and things like that. So it's super handy. You can put it on you when you're driving down the road. It's a nice, comfortable temperature. made of polar fleece, really durable. Again, a lot of truckers use these and have found them helpful, and this is definitely a keeper for me. My fourth gear suggestion has to do with lighting up the interior of your Wayfarer van. Whether you're cooking or reading or doing work inside, it's great to have some solid light sources. There's the little Lucy lights that you can buy, which are inflatable solar generated lights. You can pick those up at Walmart or online. But I'm using now a pair of rechargeable LED bulbs suggested by Bob Wells at Cheap RV Living. You get 2 of these for just $11 on Amazon. They each last for 5 hours. You can recharge them with a typical mini USB to USB port, or they come with their own mini solar generator. So you can throw this in the windshield of your car or out with your solar panel in your camp, and you can recharge these up. Because they last for 5 hours, this one bulb is going to last me an entire evening from the time the sun goes down until I go to bed. It's nice and bright. I can read by this. I can do any kind of work in the camp. It comes with this handy hook, so I can hook it to my magnetic hooks all along my roof panels. So I found this super helpful. It's a great buy for $11. I don't think the solar panels are so great, but again, you can charge it up in a typical USB port, and they charge up pretty quickly. So that's my next gear suggestion if you're looking for light inside your Wayfarer van.